Welcome to Shore.
To Shore.
I'm Joni.
I'm Ryan.
And we travel to highlight places to go, things to see, foods to eat. So come, join us.
All right, so for our first trip, I decided to surprise Joni for a birthday weekend in San Antonio. She had a few things that she wanted to do, so she wanted to try to look at some fall leaves. We live in Texas, so that can be a little tricky, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. The second thing was that she wanted some type of like spa, right? Spa experience package. I settled on Lost Maple State Park, and we'll get to that, in San Antonio, which is the best place, according to the internet, to see fall leaves in Texas. Remember that for later. And then that put us in San Antonio. So I was like, okay, we're going to San Antonio, but it's a weekend trip. So here we go, 2 nights in San Antonio with Ryan and Joni.
So we live in the Houston area, and so we were able to get into San Antonio, just leave after work and get in for a late dinner on Friday night, a place called Cappy's for dinner that night, and it was excellent.
Yeah, I thought it was good. The restaurant was really neat looking. The food was fantastic, and the service was really good.
Yeah, service was excellent. We were able to get a late reservation for 8:30. I called on the way, or open tabled, I don't remember. Yeah. I would say reservations are recommended. So if you decide to try it out, make a reservation. So we got up the next morning, and we could have walked to our breakfast location, but we ended up driving. I don't remember why. Maybe we weren't sure where we were headed after that. But so if you're staying in the area of the King William Historic District, there's a place called the Gunther House.
The Gunther House.
Ryan took German in high school, so I depend on him for German pronunciation. But this home is, if you've ever heard of Pioneer flour mixes and gravy mixes that you can buy in the store.
Biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, this is the mill where those things were made and maybe still are made.
Yeah, they're still made now.
And so the Gunther, Mr. Gunther, who founded this mill.
Herr Gunther.
Okay. This was his home. They now have a restaurant in the home, and it's a top-rated place to go get breakfast in San Antonio. And our Airbnb was not far from there. So, it's actually located near the river and in the King William Historic District, which I later found out as I was looking for things to do and places to see. Is a great place to walk around and see the architecture. It was the first suburb. Considered the first suburb outside of San Antonio. It was like German merchants that settled outside of San Antonio.
Yeah, very cool.
It was nice to walk around. We walked up some of the streets and drove around, just looked at the different types of homes, and it was a really, really pretty area.
The cool thing about the historic district is that there's a couple of homes that you can tour through there that are like older, like mansion type kind of homes. Steve's Homestead is one of them. Via Fanal is another one. That's probably close to how they're pronounced. But it's just a really cool area. It's really quiet. It's really peaceful. The river does run through there. It's not like the touristy part of the Riverwalk. So if you want to just like go for a jog or like maybe do like a picture, photography run or shoot or stuff, that's kind of something that would appeal to me. It's very peaceful and just very tranquil part of the river. That you can go through, and the neighborhood as well. Lots of people out walking their dogs, tons of people around, picket fences, all that kind of deal. So it's a really nice part of town.
Mm-hmm. Good way to spend the morning.
Yep. All right, so after we finished our really nice breakfast, very peaceful, tranquil Riverwalk setting, we started making the drive out to Lost Maple State Park to see the best fall foliage in Texas. So.
And it's a little bit of a drive, so...
Yeah, it's a couple hours.
You may not feel like, depending on how long you traveled to get to San Antonio, you may not want to take an hour and 45-minute drive out to the park. You could camp at the park, or you could stay in a dude ranch in Bandera, very close to Lost Maples.
Yeah, You could. So... Joni, when you heard that we were going to be going out to see the best fall foliage viewing in the state of Texas, on this drive out there, what was going through your mind?
Okay, so I'm imagining this like set apart forest. We start driving out, and I've never really been to this part of Texas before, I guess. Um, but you know, there's like hills. It's the hill country, right? So there's hills, and it's starting to get a little bit drier, and there's mesquite trees. So I'm imagining this like secluded forest that's like all maple trees and all varying colors of fall.
Yeah. As it turns out, they call it Lost Maples, I think, because they have lost their maples. It was rough. There was one little tiny strip that we didn't get a picture of.
Bits of orange.
There were some things I was
sporadically.
Yeah, there were a few things I was able to get aerially of some pieces, but the fall was not in full display in Lost Maples.
It was supposed to be peak season too.
Yeah, weeks 1 and 2 of November are typically what the park says is the peak time, and it might be. It's definitely more fall than I saw growing up in Houston when I was a kid. But it was rough. But there were some other things out there. So you want to say kind of some of the other things we did?
And just to fill you guys in, we recently moved from Tennessee, East Tennessee, which had beautiful fall. So, we're just like looking for a taste. So if you're comparing it to that and you're coming to Texas to look for that, go somewhere else.
That's a good point, actually. I would say if you're coming from south of Lost Maples State Park, you're probably going to really enjoy it and be really wowed by the fall beauty. If you're coming from north of Lost Maples State Park, you might be disappointed.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I will say, though, it was still a very nice place to... There's trails, little creeks that run across. We had to step across stones to cross over the streams.
Almost wiped out a few times.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, our feet maybe got a little wet. There's this cool place called Monkey Rock where the rock's actually been carved out and it looks like a monkey. We walk a little bit further and it's called the Grotto, and so there are some really beautiful places to see. We only went out about a mile and a half or so on the trail, but you could hike. I think it's a total of about 6 miles or something.
Yeah, it's probably 5 to 6 miles.
So if you're a hiker, it's a great place. You can camp, and there's some more challenging parts and less challenging parts, and it was beautiful, just not what we expected.
Yeah. But all in all, it was a good afternoon. It was a great way to spend some time. We did get some good shots of different things.
And the weather was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, the weather was fantastic. So I would recommend it if you know what to expect and you know what you're going out there for.
Yeah. You're nearby.
Yeah.
You're going to a dude ranch.
If you're going to a dude ranch.
It's on my bucket list. So on our way out of Lost Maples back to San Antonio, we did find this little store called the Apple Store. I think it's called the Apple Store.
It was. And you wanted to stop at it on the way.
I wanted to stop on the way, but we missed it. And then we were like, how do we turn around? And we were trying to get to the park by a certain time because they had a timed entry. Something to know. You might check ahead. We had to pay for our...
Yeah, we had to pay for our park admission. So you reserve it online. And there's a limited number of spots, and especially during the fall, it does sell out really quickly. So I got mine 30 days in advance, which is the earliest that you can get it. The next day, there were like 10 spots left. I think the next day it was sold out. So they do sell out like almost 30 days in advance of park passes, and then once they're gone, you cannot get in no matter what.
So back to the Apple Store. We stopped on our way out, and I had looked online, of course, before we went to see if it was worth stopping, and they are apparently really known for their apple pies. So we got a slice of apple pie. They were about to close, but thankfully they had one slice left. And we put some apple cinnamon ice cream on it. So we had apple pie a la mode, and it was very good. They have a what?
Yes. So we were trying to figure out. Johnny was like, How do I make the pie a la mode? I want to get it a la mode, and the lady's like, you put ice cream right here, and she points to the top of the pie.
Well, I didn't know if you were supposed to like get it in a cup separate or because
how do you
it was closed.
I mean, how do you make a pie a la mode?
Well, the pie was in a closed container, so I didn't know if I was supposed to get a cup of ice cream on the side to go with it.
It was just really funny. The lady's just, she's like,
She's like,
you
"Put
just,
it right
you just put it right there on top.
Whatever. So anyway, you can get an apple pie to take home as well. Whole apple pie. They were about $25.
Yeah.
But it was a nice stop. They also had a little cafe that if you make it before 3:00, they have some food. It was closed when we got there, but
Supposedly have good burgers.
if you're looking for a place to stop before you get to Lost Maples, it might be a good option. There's not much else around there.
Yep.
So, yeah.
So after we left the Apple store, we were headed back to downtown. We knew we wanted to do a couple things. We wanted to eat on the Riverwalk if possible. We also wanted to do like a boat tour. Johnny really wanted to do a nighttime boat tour specifically. And because this was our...
So tell them about the boat tours.
Yeah. So the boat tour itself, there's a ton of them. There's 3 different stops on the Riverwalk where you can get on the boat tour. It's all the same company, so there are no options. Don't bother shopping around. But you can buy the tickets online. You'll see lots of lines. A lot of people there will be waiting like to pay cash, or maybe they just don't know they can buy them online. I just stood in front of the boat and bought them, showed my phone to the guy. He let me on the boat. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that. So yeah, we got on there. We did a little tour. The guides are all really informative. They do work for tips, just FYI. So, have that kind of in your mind as you're leaving, if that's something that you normally do. And it was good. It was a great tour.
I love the boat tours. We've been to San Antonio before, and I've done the boat tours before, so I was like, I want to do the boat tour again. It's a great way to see the Riverwalk and learn a little bit more about things along the Riverwalk and how it was built. Some interesting facts we learned on our boat tour this time that I didn't remember was that Miss Congeniality was filmed on a part of the Riverwalk. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a bridge called the Selena Bridge where Selena was engaged, and that scene from the movie with J-Lo was filmed there.
Yeah, and we saw the hotel that she stayed at.
Yeah, so just a few little movie tips there for the Riverwalk.
Yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I will say, just as a general kind of be ready for thing for San Antonio, is that their super busy time is during the summer, but they also have all kind of conventions and events going on all year round. So if you're going to be there and you're going to be there on like a Saturday night, especially, maybe even like a Friday night, I would definitely make reservations wherever you want to go. So we actually had an issue. We had several places that Johnny wanted to eat at that were not available, 3 hours or so in advance, unless it was like super late, like almost 9:00 that you were eating, which we didn't want to do. So we finally got in at Fogo de Chao. And it was actually really good. We don't have a ton of clips from there, if any, but it was a great meal. It was actually one of the better Brazilian steakhouse meals I've had.
It was really nice.
So we finished dinner, and then we went back to our Airbnb.
And then daylight savings time. We gained an hour of sleep, for real.
We gained an hour. Yeah, it was awesome. So we got to sleep in, and we woke up that morning. We got not one but 2 breakfasts. So I went over to a coffee shop that was called...
Well, we didn't both eat 2 breakfasts. I ate a breakfast, he ate a breakfast.
Right, but at 2 different places.
Yes.
So there was that coffee shop near us that I had mentioned, or maybe not mentioned if that got cut out, was, what was the name of it again?
I think it's called Cafe Cotidiano.
That word. And it was pretty good. And then we drove over to the taco shop.
Well, it's not actually a taco shop. It's called the Original Donut Shop. But they're kind of known for their breakfast tacos. Mm-hmm. And it was a legit taco shop because their ladies are like rolling out the fresh flour tortillas and putting them on the cooktop, cooking them fresh, stuffing them. They're pretty good breakfast tacos. It was a little bit of a line. So it was a Sunday morning, so it was about a 20-minute wait, I'd say. So just plan ahead if you plan on stopping for breakfast tacos.
All right, so then after we got our breakfast, it was time for the spa.
Spa day, yep.
So we went to the Windflower Spa, which is in like a resort.
The Hyatt Regency Hill Country Resort and Spa. It's about 20 minutes outside of this downtown area, kind of near SeaWorld. And it was a beautiful property, so it might even be something that you would look at staying if you were in the area and wanted to go to SeaWorld, especially.
It was a really large property. There's tons of stuff there, like restaurants and different things. But tucked away in the back of it is the Windflower Spa, which is like kind of like a barn, countryish looking area, very rustic.
There was a windmill.
Yeah, a little windmill outside. It was kind of noisy.
Is that what they're called?
Yeah, it was a windmill. Okay. Yeah. But,
like the farm kind of windmill.
Yeah, the old metally one. Mm-hmm. So we got checked in. They walked us around, got us into our little locker room, relaxation areas. Men's relaxation area has a TV. Women's, I understand, does not.
I don't remember seeing a TV.
So men's had Sunday football on. So Cowboys game was on. They also had a steam room, a sauna, a jacuzzi, and that's all just in your individual area. Mm-hmm. And then there's a bunch of other stuff there too.
Outdoors, they had a pool, a heated outdoor pool, and a jacuzzi outdoors. There was a hammock strung up and a little, like a big swing that could fit 2 to 3 people. And the pool area is just covered with trees, and it was a beautiful day. It was about 70 degrees in the area here in November, and it was just a beautiful place to relax for a few hours. So I would say if you're going to the spa and getting a service, make a day of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So after we wrapped up at the spa, we had a couple more things that we wanted to do before we headed back home. So we went back downtown. This time I did a little bit more homework. The night before I just kind of driven around aimlessly, didn't really know where to park, ended up paying probably way more than I should have for parking. This time I found out where I wanted to go, and I found a parking garage that was nearby. I reserved my spot online. I paid half of what I had paid the night before. So highly recommend doing your homework on the parking front if you're going to be going downtown and you're not staying somewhere where you can just walk around. But we stopped and we looked at the Alamo, got some aerial footage of the Alamo, got to walk in a little bit different part of town, and also did some Riverwalk walking.
Mm-hmm. And right across from the Alamo, there is a visitor center, so you could pick up some brochures. There's also a nice restroom in there. Yep. If you're downtown, sometimes it's hard to find a bathroom, so there's one there.
Yeah.
Right across from the Alamo. And then for dinner on our last night there, we decided to go to a place called Biga on the Banks. Technically, it's on the Riverwalk. It's a little off the kind of main part of the Riverwalk, but if you sit outside, they do have some seating that overlooks the river.
Like a second floor balcony seating.
Mm-hmm. But it was a really nice restaurant. The chef there, from reading about it, it seems like he's kind of like the father of the foodie movement in San Antonio. There's a lot of people that trained under him that have now started some of the more popular restaurants in the city, from what I can glean from reading. But the food was very good. The service was like one of the best I've ever had. Our server was excellent. It was just a nice little treat, and really nice to sit outside and just see the boats passing by and the people walking by, and it was a great way to end our weekend. Thanks for coming along with us as we went 2 days in San Antonio, and we hope you liked our video. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and leave a comment below if you want to see more and what you know about San Antonio, what you're interested in to see next. Thanks for coming. Bye.